Good morning. Welcome back. It's Arona. I've been sitting here thinking for a few minutes about how to introduce this video and also give like a quick recap of what I've been doing musically recently. I will say that I've been trying to give myself an education in black metal. For those of you who haven't been following my channel, pretty much basically coming into discovering metal as a genre in depth only within the last few months, thanks to some key modern bands that have kind of opened my eyes and then got me interested in learning about the origins of the different subgenres, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, I could ramble for hours. Trying not to do that right now. But anyway, I did recently discover like the holy grails of black metal. And I've been listening to Mayhem, Emperor, and Dark Throne like nonstop over and over. And it was fascinating to me. Again, give me some grace. I'm a noob. I had been listening to modern music that I talked about in terms of like a meditation in this beautiful dark atmosphere, not really knowing exactly what I was talking about. I still don't when I say the term black metal, but Der Weg einer Freiheit was one of the big ones that I commented on recently that got me looking for sounds that were similar and then also looking for the origin of that sound, if that makes sense. Anyway, all of that to say, when I decided to sit down and do a reaction today, I thought I'd do one of my personal discoveries, which means I'm just basically going through and landing on something that looks really interesting. So today we've got an Iranian black metal song. This kind of struck a chord for many reasons, and then I read some of the comments about some of the blatant controversy of what I assume is a message of criticizing certain aspects of the way societies are run in certain areas of the world, and you know how much balls that can take, depending on where you are at and who's watching you. And of course, here in the U.S., themes like that are kind of striking straight to the heart. And in this uncertain time, things like the richness and the beauty that can come out of something that is also so dark and melancholy kind of, I don't know, keeps you afloat in the midst of the darkness, I guess. So we're going to go ahead and check this out. I'm super excited to hear what this is. I've never heard this band or this song. I've never heard Iranian black metal. I didn't know that was a thing. So let's check this out. Thanks for listening through all that. Sorry. Azrael, also known as Azrael, is the angel of death in Middle Eastern theology. The purpose of this work is its true master. Oh, okay. That's worth. Purpose of this work is the exaltation of death and a tribute to its true master. Interesting. Trivax stands against totalitarianism of all forms, including religious and cultural dictatorships. Freedom is the only law. Hail Master Death. I'm on board. What an image. All right, there's nothing subtle about this, what they are doing, and it's almost hard to process. Like, are you sure? I'm just blown away. The core thematic elements to the music and the visual is, again, from what I have learned in my short history and education, very faithful to the core of what black metal is all about. Everything from the transitions and the rhythms, the tremolo, the chord choices, everything is very consistent in that space. There's this consistency that hasn't like broken into, anything of a brighter nature, like a brighter subgenre. It's just very black, and it sounds great. The vocal, I love the vocals here, and yeah, I don't even know how to describe the impression of the actual visuals, the aesthetic. The editing, the video footage interspliced with the band members. It's a statement. It's a statement. It is not subtle. Huge impression on me. That is a gorgeous transition. Slow it down a little bit. The emotion is picking up. Emotion is picking up. You can imagine that from these heavier chords. Gorgeous. There's a note of brightness, and it's towards the end of the song, but that chord change comes at, I don't know, it's an interesting moment to choose to do that, and it's, I don't know, it's it has this effect that I clearly am having trouble explaining. Okay. Aloha Burns Out. I guess that is the album that this track is from. Definitely going to check out more. Okay, this is from 2023 release. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything at the end. Wow. So that's the end of the reaction, I guess. I feel like I just have some extra things to say in a general sense. As far as why this seemed like an important thing to look at, things that have been going on in the US that have me thinking in a different way, kind of trying to balance this feeling of fear, but also the pressing urgency to not be afraid and to act definitively in every way that I possibly can. And then mixed in there is the feeling of complete helplessness, like I can't do anything that is super impactful other than use my voice in whatever way I can, make choices with my money, whether or not I support groups that support what's going on. So to see something like this kind of incredibly courageous statement just blatantly in the face of a power that you acknowledge is perfectly capable of visiting this angel of death upon you. It is staggering, and I admire it, and it kind of, I don't know, it makes me think about what choices I'm going to have to make in the near future. It's easy to kind of catastrophize the future, and it's perfectly possible that somehow the U.S. stabilizes in some way, and we find equilibrium, and we save some of the core tenets of what made my country what it is when I was born and what I've known my entire life. But it feels so uncertain right now, and, you know, if it came to a point where I had to make a choice between, you know, self-preservation and personal ideals and ethical stances, you know, having never been in a position where I needed to do that in any way, you know, never being truly uncomfortable, honestly, in my life. You know, I've worked hard and I've been born to privilege and been taken care of in a lot of ways. So what would it look like for me to suddenly be in a position where I had a choice between pretending like everything's fine and going along with things that I don't agree with, or would I be willing to take a risk and, you know, do something about it, even if it's just something like a major statement like this in art form. You know, things like this can have major consequences, and, you know, I've been in a country where that's okay to do. Like, we're allowed to say things, we're allowed to disagree with the government and have our own opinions, but is that on its way out? Like, I don't know. Like, if people can just be picked up off the street, thrown out of the country, if people can be arrested for saying things that goes against the fucking powers that be, like, how long am I going to be able to enjoy just saying what I think? And yeah, so all that to say, thanks for joining me, and these are just kind of my floating thoughts of uncertainty and tentativeness about the future in my country.